Every spring, you dream about the garden, and then June shows up. If this sounds like you, I hope this episode can be an encouragement to you. It's not always laziness or a lack of skill for the reason why you might not be getting your garden in for the year. Most of the time, the problem is that gardening never made it onto the calendar. Are you a mom who dreams of that homestead life you see on Instagram? Who feels called to Christian homemaking? You feel like you'd need an extra 12 hours in your day, along with another set of hands, just to make your home work the way you know it could. Welcome to Simply Living Homestead. I'm Amanda Carlin, wife, mama, homemaker, and milkmaid. I've learned the secret to simplifying my time and homestead so my homemaking supports my family instead of exhausting me, and it makes room for the moments that truly matter. If you're ready to get time back in your day, manage your home with confidence, grow in your homesteading skills, and train your children in the way they should go, grab your pitchfork and planner, friend. Let's get to work. Before we jump into today's episode, I want to quickly mention something for the homemaker who feels overwhelmed trying to make all this actually work in real life. If you're constantly feeling behind in your homestead, struggling to manage your time, or feel like you just have all these dreams but no clear systems to support them, this is exactly why I created my Homestead Systems mentorship. Inside the mentorship, I help Christian homemakers build simple systems for their time, home, and homestead so that they can stop living in constant reaction mode and start creating rhythms that actually support the life that you want to build. Whether you're trying to finally get your garden planted, stay on top of homemaking, manage homesteading projects, or just feel less overwhelmed day to day, mentorship is designed to help you create a plan that works for your real life and your real season. You can find more information down in the show notes. All right, friend, let's jump into today's episode. Welcome back to the homestead. Today we are talking about the real reason why many homemakers keep missing planting season. This is no guilt, no perfection, no needing a bigger homestead. We're talking about overwhelm, priorities, and making space for gardening in real life. I speak from experience. Spring is full of new life. It's full of exciting thoughts and this new possibility. And it's also filled with many urgent things that keep taking priority. For me, I feel like I'm being pulled in 100 different directions all the time. Gardening is one of those things that is constantly sitting in the back of my mind, but never happening. And I had to stop and ask myself, why? There's been seasons where it's gone really well. I know how to garden. This isn't a skill issue on my part, but it's not happening. And when you have all of these desires of being able to provide for your family and put good food on the table and put food away for the winter, maybe save some money from these awful prices that are at the grocery store, it can really put this guilt and weight behind needing to get that garden in and trying to balance that with weather and all the other things that you have to do in your life. It is really common for this to be a struggle I got some things in. I didn't get everything I wanted in, or I haven't even touched it. The ground is full of weeds and now it looks overwhelming. So this is something that is not unique to you. If you're resonating with this, it's not unique to you. It's not unique to me. Gardening doesn't usually fail because you don't care. It fails because you never intentionally made room for it. And now I realize that if I had heard me say those same words, not even that long ago, maybe a year or two ago, I would have been, yeah, I hear you. But how? There's so many other things that are needing to take priority. Homesteading and homemaking, the art of taking care of your home and your people and providing for all of those things, it is full of urgent tasks. There's laundry, meals, appointment, animals, kids, and gardening feels important, but it often doesn't feel urgent until suddenly it is. And if you don't have time for it when that urgency hits, it's not going to happen. The important things often get pushed aside without intentional planning for the urgent things. Someday this week rarely works. Oh, I need to get that done. Almost never makes things happen. So we have to set up the things in our life so that they are intentional. So how do you actually do that? The missing system that is present here and can be applied to many other things is time blocking. Gardening is a work block. It is one focused task that needs uninterrupted time, or at least minorly interrupted time. We don't want to be running into the house to change laundry and, oh, I need to just wash this pan real quick and, oh, the bathroom sink needs wiped down, right? You need to be able to focus your time on gardening. And so when you are thinking about a task that is a work block, that is something that you need to put your uninterrupted focus on, you need to be asking yourself, where can I realistically put 1 to 2 hours this week? Late morning, after supper, Saturday afternoon. We need to look at, I need to get started, and when can I plug this in? If you have a time blocking system already set up based on some of the other episodes that I have put out, this should be fairly straightforward to look at and say, oh, I can put it here. But if you don't, you might be going, okay, that's all well and good, but I don't really understand. And that's okay. You can gain more clarity by listening to some of my previous episodes. That would be a great place to start. But let's kind of talk about this just really quickly. There are 3 types of time blocks, and everybody has them. My husband has them. In a way, even my kids have these different categories, whether they're aware of it or not. There's a personal block, and this is the time that you spend taking care of yourself. And then there is a home and family block. This is time that is set aside for the regular, the mundane, the routine things of taking care of your home and your family. And then there are work blocks. And work blocks do kind of end up getting a fair bit of things thrown into them. But the key point of a work block is that you have a singular focus on something. So sometimes a work block is, well, I'm going to work. I'm leaving the property. I'm driving in my car to a job that pays me. That's a work block. I am going to work from home and spend some time on a home-based business. That is a work block. Or even the possibility of, say, gardening, where you need to dedicate a certain amount of time to this task, this activity. That is a work block. And so when you're thinking about your day, it is really important to think about these concepts, and basically you are creating boundaries with yourself where this is my personal block and I will be focusing on things to take care of myself in this. I'm not going to think about the dishes. I'm not going to think about the laundry. I'm not going to think about the fact that, name it, that you would do for other activities. You are going to focus on taking care of yourself. So that's like a personal block. And then when that personal block, that time, that zone of time ends, then you can go, okay, well, I'm moving into a home block now. And now I'm going to focus on doing the dishes, doing the laundry. But when you shift into a work block, like gardening, as we're talking about here, you're not going to think about all the other tasks that you need to get done for the family. You're going to go out and you're going to go focus only on the tasks you need to do to take care of the gardening. So we want to start with one block. Do it once and see how much you can get done. And you're going to look at it and say, oh, I just need to do this again. What time next week can I do this? Where can I plug this in? If you have this all written down on paper, which I'm not going to go into for the sake of time today, there are other episodes on how to lay that out specifically. But if you have it laid out on paper, it is really helpful to then say, oh, look, see, I have time right here. We can do the gardening then. And then hold yourself to that appointment as if it was an appointment with the doctor or your kid's school or whatever that is. Like, make that appointment with yourself, and if you need to, have someone hold you accountable. If you come over to our community group, it's free. It's off social media. You can make a post on there and we'll hold you accountable. That would be awesome. But if you have someone in your life, your spouse, a friend, or someone that can hold you accountable to go, hey, I'm going to get the gardening done at this time, check in with me, that can be a really great way to hold that appointment with yourself, as opposed to just saying, well, I'm going to do it this week. So that's how we can make it fit into our week. So how do we kind of make the project feel less overwhelming? Because if you haven't gotten your garden in this year at all, or maybe you're listening to this in the future from when I'm recording this and it's just coming up to springtime and you'd like to get a head start, how do we make this project actually feel like it's doable? So it's also possible that you get overwhelmed by thinking about the whole garden, everything that has to be done. So we're going to break it down. What are things that you need to do so that you can get out to your garden? Well, we need to buy seeds, we need to prep the soil, we need to plant, and then we need to take care of the weeds. You're not going to get a Pinterest garden overnight, and frankly, you don't need one. Even ugly gardens produce food for your family. So beauty doesn't matter here unless that is the thing that keeps you motivated. Even putting in a few plants is important for cutting that grocery bill down and providing for your family. I bought bell peppers the other day and I think they cost me $4. It costs like $1.50 last I checked to put a pepper plant in the ground, and I could have all the peppers I want. So even if I just planted peppers this year, it would still ultimately end up saving me some money. So the last thing I want to talk about as far as gardening goes is, and we'll talk about this a little bit later in the month, but maintenance is then also important to plug into your time blocking. Once you've planted your garden, maintenance gets easier usually, as long as you stay on top of it. You may only need as few as a couple 20-minute sessions out in your garden each week. I personally, and I'll mention this again later, we're going to talk about it later in the month, but I personally like to go out and walk through the garden every single day during my chore time. And doing this allows me to take an assessment of the garden, see if I need to plan any extra time into my week to take care of it. But I can also take care of some really tiny things in that, 15 minutes of just simply walking through the garden. So consistency is so much more important than intensity. And then you will have to start plugging time into your schedule later in the year, in the fall, when you start getting those harvests in and you need to do something with them. Again, depending on the size of your garden. But if you're making a garden to feed your family, there's going to be some sort of size to it. And it's going to produce quite a bit at some point in the season. And that's where that work block comes back into play. Where I am preserving and I have to dedicate time towards it. So we're going to talk about our action step now. Every week, I like to give you an action step to tie in and help you maybe take some action forward, get something accomplished in your day, in your week, in your life. So this week, I want you to look at your week ahead. And can you find 1 hour this week to dedicate to gardening? Whether that's just simply prepping your garden, if that's making sure you have all your seeds ordered, or whatever you need to do as the next step, dedicate 1 hour as a work block to gardening this week. Write it down in your planner before this episode ends, right when you're done listening to this. Go ahead and write that down and decide exactly when you're going to do that, and then hold yourself accountable. Come on over to the free community group and you can post a picture of your planner or share a photo of your garden, or just simply comment and tell us what day you're going to be working in your garden this week. And we can maybe encourage each other to hold each other accountable and make that appointment with ourselves so that we can get in the garden and provide food for our family. Starting late is better than never starting at all. You don't need perfection to grow food for your family. Your garden doesn't have to look perfect, but you do have to show up. And plugging in work blocks is a surefire way to show up. It makes us understand what time we have in our week so that we can carve it out to do the things that matter to us. Gardening is possible when you stop waiting for extra time to show up and start assigning the time. So, friend, I hope you have a great week this week. I hope that you are able to get into the garden. You're able to get that time done. If you've gotten in, but you're not happy with where it's at, I hope you find time. Make time. Make time to get into the garden today or this week and get something that you were needing done to get done with. As a reminder, I am offering the Homestead System mentorship. It's private, it's one-on-one, and we focus very specifically on the things that you need, what you're struggling with, what you feel like is overwhelming, and we will create systems to help you overcome that overwhelm, whether it's in the time management, whether it's in homemaking specifically, whatever you are struggling with, we will tailor it to do that, and we will get you wins in a relatively short period of time. And so I would encourage you, if that feels like it resonates with you, to check the description box below. There is information down there on that, and you can learn more about that. Until next week, I hope you have a fabulous day. Hey neighbor, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If so, would you take 30 seconds and share this episode with a friend who is knee-deep in their own homestead? Also, please leave me a rating or a review on Apple Podcasts. It thrills me to know that this podcast is helping you. Keep watching those sunsets, friend. I'll meet you back here on the homestead soon for another episode. See ya!